Welcome back to Math Concepts. We are going to continue our discussion of the mathematics behind personal finance. And we've been talking about mortgages. Okay, this is the single biggest investment that most people will make. So it's important that we understand what's going on with these large loans. In this video, we are going to discuss how much of a single mortgage payment goes toward paying interest versus how much goes toward reducing the principal. In other words, how much goes towards the cost of the loan, which is interest, and how much goes to actually paying back the amount you owe, which is paying down the principal. Okay, let's go and look at a quick example right away. So the key idea for this video is to calculate how much of a single mortgage payment goes to interest. So let's pretend that we purchase a home for $295,000 and we obtain a 30-year mortgage at 6.75%. Now that is going to be after we put 25% down. Okay, so this was the purchase price of the home, not the mortgage amount. How much of your first payment goes to principal and how much goes to interest? Okay, so before we can do anything else, we need to compute our monthly payment. Okay, they didn't give us the monthly payment in the problem, so we have to figure it out ourselves. And before that, I need to know the actual mortgage amount. Okay, I can't compute the monthly payment until I know how much was borrowed. Okay, so the down payment, that was 25% of the purchase price of the house. So 0.25 times 295,000. 0.25 times 295, 1, 2, 3 zeros. So the down payment was $73,750. Okay, so to figure out the mortgage amount, I take the purchase price of the house minus the down payment. So that gives me $221,250. Okay, this is the amount I actually borrowed. Let's go actually write it out there. Amount borrowed. Okay, so now we're going to need to calculate the monthly payment. And we're going to use the same formula that we discussed in APR loans and that we used in our last video concerning monthly payments for mortgages. Okay, there it is right there. You'll remember that A stands for amount borrowed. We just figured that out to be $221,250. R is, of course, the interest rate, and up here we can see that's 6.75%, 0.0675. Okay, remember we are essentially always going to be converting any percentages to their equivalent decimal version when we do a computation. And we're dealing with monthly payments here, so N is 12. 1 minus, and then open another parenthesis, 1 plus 0.0675 over 12. Now my exponent here, your exponent is always going to be the total number of payments over the life of the loan. Here you're doing a 30-year mortgage, and your making payments every month for 30 years. That is a total of 360 payments. Okay, notice that exponent there is negative. That comes from our formula for monthly payments. Okay, so let's crunch the numbers here. Once again, I like this calculator here because I can essentially enter this formula exactly as it looks. Let me clear out the calculator here. $221,250 times. And I recommend you put the numerator in parentheses when you do this on your calculator. 0.0675 divided by 12. So that's the parentheses for my numerator. Divide by, open a new parenthesis for your denominator. 1 minus, gotta have another parenthesis, 1 plus 0.0675 divided by 12. Close that parenthesis. Put in an exponent of negative 360. Okay, once again, make sure you use that when you're trying to change something to negative. This is for the operation of subtraction. This is for making things negative. And then I close the final parenthesis on the denominator. I press equals, and we've got our monthly payment. $14.35 and 2 cents. Okay, so every month you need to send the bank $1,435.02 to cover your mortgage. Okay, now some of that is going to be used for interest, and some of it is going to be used to pay down the principal. In other words, to actually pay back the loan. So the question we were trying to answer is how much of your first payment goes to principal and how much to interest. So we computed how much your payment actually is. Now let's look at this first month. Okay, now we know we borrowed $221,250, right? We figured that out right here. So the balance owed for our first month. Well, this is the amount of interest they charge you. 0.0675 over 12. I'm sorry, let me write that on a new line. Okay, let's just go with the balance owed. The balance owed was $221,250. Okay, so the interest charged on your first month is going to be 0.0675 divided by 12 times the balance that you owe. Okay, do a little calculation here. So open up parenthesis 0.0675 divided by 12, close that parenthesis, times $221,250. So the interest that you owe in the first month is $1,244.53. That's for the first month, the interest you're going to have to pay. Okay, now to find out how much goes to principal, we need to look at your monthly payment, which we computed to be $1,435.02. So $1,435.02. That's the amount you send to the bank every month to cover your mortgage. This is the amount that is going to go to principal that first month. Or sorry, this is the amount that's going to go to interest. You subtract to get the amount that's going to go to principal. So we have $190.49. Okay, so that much goes to interest. You look at the amount you owe, take the percentage, that's the amount of interest you have to pay. The remainder of your monthly payment is going to go to principal. So you take your monthly payment, subtract away the amount that's going to interest. This goes to pay down your principal. And I know the question didn't really ask us this, but this is important and interesting to look at here. In the first month, you owe the full amount of your mortgage. Okay, in the next month, you owe this amount. So what you do is you take $221,250 minus the amount that went to principal. So that second month, your outstanding balance on your mortgage is that. Let's look at how much interest you would have to pay. Okay, well, the interest is always going to be the same percentage, but now it's a percentage of this amount. So let's crunch the numbers there. 0.0675 divided by 12 times 221,059.51 1243.46. Okay, so I want you to compare these two. This is the amount of interest that you had to pay the first month. This is the amount of interest that you had to pay the second month. Notice it's a little bit less. Each month that trend is going to continue. Each month less and less of your payment is going to go towards interest, and more is going to go towards paying down the principal.